Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, we witnessed the birth of a brand new family when the Royal Court of Flowers found a place to call their own. This family is actually completely unrelated to all of our other branches, thanks to Kuro's involvement, of course. So with a new family could come new ways of life, and perhaps some new gemstones as well. I figured we should probably make them a special combination since they are so different, and I thought that the pink gem in the middle might actually fit them quite well. Kind of like a little flower with the green leaves on both sides. Serenade and Emerald of course won't be changing, because they were from our bandit line. Though technically they do have the shaman gemstones from their mother, and they both do have those digging paws. So perhaps this will usher in a new era for our shamans too, if we do decide to breed them into our little flower line. But right now, I think the only creatures left with any energy would be little Chipper and little Mila. So she's going to have to teach her children all of the stories of Adam very soon, now that one of her babies has been born with Adam's special stripes, and even with that crown of ram horns too. She knows that it's time for her to potentially get them ready to take on the bluebird feathers next. But she also knows that Isana is going to have quite a hard time convincing the tribe that she's ready for the task. She has one deformed paw, so she only has a single claw to work with to keep her tribe safe. And with the way that the jungle is, of course, with the constant threat of apes looming down on us, we're going to have to keep a very close eye out for danger. Chipper might learn that firsthand if he decides to stumble his way into one of these carnivorous plants. This one unfortunately did grow back with quite a hostile shade, so we're not going to be able to collect any more fruit from that one. But Amanita, on the other hand, might be looking for more of these green plants. She has found that she does quite enjoy the thrill of harvesting such a potentially dangerous food. She might even think about enlisting the help of Phantom. I bet he would think that he is just so quick on his feet that even a carnivorous plant wouldn't be able to munch him up. But that's why Golden Heart has to keep a very, very close eye on her friends. Right now she is a little bit distracted because she is trying to gather food for everybody, as well as study the waters too. And look how many of those piranha are actually in here. Oh my goodness! Did they all spawn in this pool maybe? Some of the algae is actually differently colored. Yeah, I think they might be spawning from this darker one. Good thing Golden Heart is on the case. With her family's connection to the ocean waves, she should be just the right kind of creature to discover all of its secrets. And this is why Phantom thinks that nothing could possibly harm him out in the jungle. It looks like a little bunny was coming over for a snack and didn't even notice that it was hopping straight into Phantom. The only problem is, his lean body makes it so he's not very strong at all, and he doesn't have the ram horns on his head or any claws to spare, so he can't actually attack the bunnies. He's going to have to ask somebody like Mirage to help him out instead. And if she does wrap her way around him, then she can unearth some more for us, very, very good. But she can also stop the bunny from skittering back off into the jungle. Let's have her sniff around with her big nose too, just in case. It looks like we still don't have any major dangers out this way, but I would imagine that at least one of these trees is probably housing an ape. It turns out that we can actually see if a tree is going to spawn an ape. Typically only the ones that we can interact with are the ones that could spawn an ape somewhere in our path. So thankfully this one that our little court has settled underneath isn't one of the ones that's going to cause them any trouble. But we still don't know the fate of the trees over toward the right, or the ones directly behind their land too. So I think it's going to be time for them to do a bit more exploring. I was actually thinking for their families, since they are so connected to plants, maybe these berry bushes would be a particularly good sign. So as our creatures continue to uncover more of them, that's when they would be allowed to start families of their own. One baby for each of the berry bushes in their territory. But of course, these carnivorous plants are another story. It looks like this one was trying to lure our little shamans close with one of those roots, but we know better than to stumble our way directly into that one. Let's keep our smelling vision open as we move Serenade deeper into the grass, just in case anything decides to jump out and scare her. Yeah, it actually seems rather bare out here, which is a bit worrying food-wise. Very fittingly, it's our bandits who found most of the food over on their side of the island. I suppose we could have Phantom scoot his way over here to pick up that meat for Mirage, and then maybe he could listen into the tall grass with his big ears. He is a little bit better at hearing than Mirage is, but so far we just have tons of little bunnies skittering around in the grass. Rare is going to have to find a place to put Carnelia's remains to rest, so let's see if we can find her any roots to dig up in the area too. We don't want them to stay too close to where the carnivorous plants are going to spawn again, just in case they end up spawning back in the red. But it looks like Amanita has a brand new plant to crack open on the next turn, and then Rare is going to be able to find her root too, to set Carnelia's remains to rest. Now perhaps it's time for Chipper to learn the harsh lessons of the jungle next, as he bumbles his way straight into that carnivorous plant. So with Isana guarded by her father, we'll bring Mila back over to this pesky trap and have her crack it open to save her son. This way it should respawn again within the next couple of turns, and then hopefully we'll be able to actually harvest some food from it. This would be a good place for them to settle down for now, since we do have so many healing fruits in the area anyways. So if an ape does decide to stumble out of the darkness, we shouldn't have to worry about getting completely demolished. But Chipper's clumsiness serves as a pretty good lesson for Isana as well, so that she'll know exactly what she's going to be up against once she's old enough to take on those bluebird feathers. Chipper, I feel, is a bit more like his father, in that he prefers to stay in a bit of a more supportive role. He's a little ball of sunshine, that lightheartedness that we so desperately need in the doom and gloom of the jungle, but he's not exactly meant for the role of a leader, so he'll do his best with the unique traits that he was given. Now we should be ready to skip the turn again. We'll leave little Asana maybe right next to her mother. I'm sure she would want to follow right in her shadow to learn everything she can. And then we should be ready to skip the day and see if any of those apes are finally going to make themselves noticeable. Yes, so far it seems like we're still just waiting for one to spawn. I don't even really hear them off in the distance. Typically you can hear them munching on their food, maybe stealing some of these stinky fruits. But it looks like all of them are still completely full. So maybe we really are alone on this island. Well, either way, we still do need to find some more berry bushes to live off of. So let's make sure that Mirage is stealing those berries before the bunnies can come back. And then we'll have Golden Heart pick up all of her delicious acorns. We'll have to have somebody clear out this area around her too, so she doesn't end up getting completely lost or potentially swallowed up by enemies. Rare can just dig out that grave, and then she should be ready to make her way to the tree. Though we do have another one of those pesky bunnies. You know, Phantom, I think they might actually be teasing you. They know that you're a little bit overconfident in your abilities, but you can't actually pin them down. That's why it would be much more helpful if you would travel around with Amanita, because then as you lure those bunnies near with those big ears of yours, Amanita can pounce on them from the grass, and you can pick up all of that meat. So they make a pretty good team when they do finally work together. And I'm sure that will apply for all of those meat-eating plants off in the grass as well. We still do have another one up here that we could easily gather from, so maybe that would be a good place for Mila to guide her daughter. Oh, she's actually passing away on this day? Oh, it seems like that happened so quickly. I remember when Mila was just born under the skeleton tree. And that means that Peanut's probably getting very old too. Alright, so maybe we could consider having one last baby with them. We'll go ahead and have Peanut clear out this nest, because unfortunately it was completely overtaken by the thickest of jungle weeds. I wonder if that's going to affect their baby at all. Let's see if hopefully they can have just one more before she passes. We'll keep their big sister close by as well, not only to take those bluebird feathers when her mother does pass, but just to help show their new little sibling the ropes. Chipper, I suppose, can maybe dart off into the tall grass too, because I know Mila would love to see his sunny little smile before the day is done. Now we should be just left with our royal court, who's still trying to figure out where their borders lie. So let's see if Emerald can at least scoop up this little root over here. Yeah, she still can't smell anything in the tall grass aside from that very eerie plant. Though she does have a little bit of less energy anyway, because of that toxic body of hers. So I think we're going to have Kuro do a little bit of maintenance. We'll have him pick the berries and clean up that old nest, while Syriana attempts to find a place to have her next baby, alongside Serenade. Let's have her investigate this tree as she passes, just to see if it's one of the ones that we can interact with. But thankfully it seems like this one is also very, very quiet. So maybe this would be a good place to explore? Just to see if there's anything waiting for us in this grass? It looks like it kind of leads into a tiny little grasslands, so that means there could be berry bushes up here. But so far, yet again, I only see little bunnies and little roots. Though typically where there are bunnies, there's usually food for them to eat. So maybe there's something right over here that she just can't smell. She doesn't have the best of sniffing abilities after all. We might actually want to enlist the help of Hibiscus for this case. Maybe he could even find a place to set up one of his future families. Our little flower prince, our high prince of the royal court, will take all of this as his own one day too. But with that, we will unfortunately be saying goodbye to Mila as we pass the day, greeting the rain. Oh, she gave us one final gift of a gigantic harvest, and the final gift of a son as well, who may also have the no palm that his sister is carrying. So they're probably going to feel quite the bond as they grow, though he has the stinky tail just like his big brother, so he should be able to watch Isana's back as her own journey begins. We've had plenty of Kuvans in our time on these islands though, so I think we will give him a name to go along with his father's theme. We'll call this little baby Almond. I think that would be pretty fitting. And now we just need to gather up all of our berries before any of those pesky bunnies come looking for a snack instead. Mirage can focus on that berry bush. Then we'll have little Peanut do the same over here, perhaps with his son Chipper if he needs an extra hand. This is actually the perfect opportunity for our creatures to follow the bunnies, because they probably know exactly where the best of berry bushes are. So let's have Hibiscus go deeper into the grasslands. Yes! We do actually have a berry bush out here! Alright, something tells me that that bunny probably picked it all clean. But Serenade, this might be your chance. Despite the fact that there aren't any berries left, at least you managed to find one of the berry bushes. So that means that maybe Kuro could consider having a baby with her. She does have the home island immunity gene, and we do need to keep that in our tribe. So I think we'll have him pick up some of his last berries, and then maybe Emerald could help him get to the rest of his tribe mates. He is a little bit hard at seeing, and we'll have to keep that in mind so he doesn't end up getting lost out here. Syriana is going to be so proud of her friend, despite the fact that I'm sure she was hoping to have her next baby soon. I'm sure we could find some other sources of food. Maybe even the friendlier plants would be something that they would consider as a good omen. Something to fill their bellies, and something to bless their babies, so we can finally get to work clearing out this new land for their home. We'll want to leave some of this grass in the area just to hide in, just in case one of these trees does end up being the one where the apes are going to spawn. Oh, but we can't forget to give poor Isana her bluebird feathers. Even though she doesn't have her final gem yet, we'll go ahead and change both of those gems over to blue, just so we know that she's our brand new leader. That also means that we should probably pick up this old nest, because we won't be needing it anymore. And then Chipper, I wonder if you could do a little bit of scouting maybe, and try to get us that food off in the grass. Now as Amanita and Phantom search for her favorite carnivorous plants, we'll have Rare return to the tree for her very final day. I think it was around here somewhere, right? Yeah, we have the dangerous one over here that we have to be careful of. Amanita will make sure that Phantom doesn't go in that direction just yet. Though we do have a friendly one next to it, so perhaps we will investigate that in the future too. Let's have her show him how it's done though. Crack open those leaves so we can pick them up on the next turn. And then I hope Rare will get the chance to clear out at least a little bit of this area for poor Golden Heart, who is just getting completely swallowed up by those wild weeds of the jungle. I think yet again it's because she's a little bit distracted with all of her work. She wants to make sure that she's studying all of the different life inside the stream before it skitters off down that waterfall. Her dedication to her studies has led her quite far away from her friends too. Oh, yet again, your plans have worked, Amanita. Good thing Phantom is such a bunny magnet. It must be those big ears. They are going to have so many stories to share with Golden Heart once they do finally make their way back to the tree. Let's have her maybe settle down over here to see if she can pick up some more acorns in the future. We'll knock them down again once she has some more energy, so hopefully a few will fall on this patch. I think all of those weeds were kind of stopping them from spawning there. We have tons and tons of bunnies in the area, so once again, Mirage, I know it's not your favorite task. You would rather be out there adventuring with all of your little babies too, but somebody has to make sure that our berries are falling into the right hands. Chipper is all grown up now, and it looks like this plant may have spawned back. Yes, that's what I was hoping to see. Alright, so that means that you guys can actually change up your plans a little bit. Maybe Isana can prove her strength by cracking open this plant, just like her mother once did. She can't gather from it herself though, so that's where Chipper's supportive role would come in very helpful. I think all of these babies are really going to have to just stick together if they want to prove themselves in their tribe's eyes. They're going to work much better together rather than alone. But Peanut should be very proud that he's raised such a close-knit family. And I know as he watches over them, he's going to be quite happy to see how they're all getting along. So Kuro, can we bring you over to Serenade's side? And then hopefully she'll be able to set up a nest on this turn, right next to this lovely little berry bush. We'll just want to alter her mutation menu a little bit. Maybe place the stinky tail in there, because we definitely want to keep that alive. And then the spots too, because I would like it if our little flowers, our little jungle flowers, were known for those lovely spots. I do believe she also has the toxic body in her inactive traits, so that's particularly helpful too. We might even see more toxic-bodied babies popping up in this land before the episode is done. Now that Hibiscus is almost fully grown, I think that should open up his berry bush as one where another baby could potentially be born. So maybe this would be Emerald's chance? I know that she hasn't found this one by herself, but I do want her to potentially have a baby too before she passes. She only has 3 days remaining on her lifespan as well, so as long as we can bring her back up here, Oh, hello, little bunny. Were you coming by to investigate coral, maybe? Well, unfortunately, we are going to scoop you right up, because we do desperately need the food. But that should be the last of our turns. So let's see if Serenade has any luck in her nest over by the berry bush. Oh, we do have a toxic-bodied baby. The toxic body, the stinky tail. So she is actually going to be quite protected against most of the apes in the jungle. Perhaps not the hearing ape, though I do believe that she also had one of those velvet paws. So she is getting very close to being able to sneak through all of these tall grasses without any worries whatsoever. So it looks like your berry bush was a very lucky place to set up a family indeed. And since Serenade is one of our only surviving creatures with those song-related names, I think we'll call this little baby Lyric. And hopefully she'll be able to keep that tradition strong in our tribe too. Keep all of those songs alive and well as we continue to explore the jungles. Maybe we'll even have little Hibiscus make his way down to the water side to come meet the baby, of course. But in the process, I wonder if he might see a certain creature, her spotty fur like a beacon from across the stream. Maybe in the next episode, Hibiscus will get brave and try to cross these piranha-infested waters to come to meet little Goldenheart. I'm sure she would enjoy a bit of extra company. It has been a very, very long time since she last had somebody to truly talk to. And I'm sure seeing somebody brave their way past all of these fish would be a very impressive feat for one of our little water healers. In the next episode, we'll also have to bring Isana and her family up to the rest of the tribe, because she needs to band them all together, so they'll be ready to set off for the next island as soon as we have enough food. I think it's quite likely that we're going to stay here for a good long while, just to collect our food supplies again. We have been very, very lucky so far. Not a single ape in sight, so as long as it stays that way, this might be our safest bet. The islands in our future are going to be even harder for us to gather food from, so we have to make sure that we're prepared. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!